here to shed some light on what the Democrats are up to and how best to combat it. One of the authors of the new book with the provocative title, What Women Really Want, Dr. Gina Loudon. And joining Dr. Gina in the discussion, our old friend, the news director from the Tea Party News Network, Scottie Nell Hughes. Ladies, we thank you both. Dr. Gina, it's so great to have you along. And would you give us a brief overview of your book?
Sure. You know, we talked to thousands of women across the country, and we found out that the things that they say that the feminists, the old feminists, have said that women want isn't what women want at all. They talk about words like choice, but they've taken away our choices, and it seems like they've politicized our bodies and our bedrooms, when that's not what women ever really wanted. They talk about things like charity, but they're the authors of the Me generation. And we say that what women really want is to lift others, to be successful and take others along with them, to rise by lifting others. They talk about freedom, but when they talk about freedom, they're really talking about limiting the freedom of women for things like their Second Amendment rights, for things like being able to educate their children the way they want without influences like Common Core. So we're here to say that's not what women really want. Take off the shackles of the old feminism. This is the new face of feminism.
And part of it is recasting the argument and the language that is used. For example, Scottie Nell, for years the left has been talking about so-called abortion rights, leaving out the question of life in that, and really always pushing contraception and access to birth control as part of this narrative of war on women. Now, Mike Huckabee got in some trouble a few months ago bringing this up. What's the right way for women on the right to approach this subject?
Listen, JD, saying that all the conservative women or any woman cares about is abortion rights and birth control is about as insulting as saying that all that men care about is Viagra and free pornography. Or saying that Bachman right now, all he cares about is how comfortable the couch is going to be when he lands on it after this morning's intro. But the truth is, women care about just exactly what men care about. We care about education. We care about the economy. We care about healthcare overall. You know, when you sit there and you completely insult every single woman when you say all we care about is our reproductive rights or taking them away. There is so many other things that detail women. There is a war on women, JD. That's the truth. But the war they have is on the conservative women. Liberal women will go out there and they will save the spotted owl. They will save the illegals crossing over the border. But by golly, they want to make sure the voices of Dr. Gina and the Politichicks or any of the other conservative women out there speaking on behalf, that we're the ones that are silenced. So the truth is, it's very hypocritical, and you know that the Democrats are desperate whenever they start bringing up this supposed war on women.
Dr. Gina, in terms of the methodology, did you go out and poll women, or is this more of an anecdotal interview kind of approach you took with your book?
Well, by virtue of the fact that the Politichicks has been one of the largest growing movements of politically involved women in the country, that's what we do every day. We have women all over the country that write for our site, and so we are constantly gathering their stories and hearing from them on all of these things. One particularly persecuted group are women of faith today. You're not allowed to talk about God. So when the feminists, who I would say are really more sexualists, actually Anne Marie said that first, my co-author, but it really has become about women from the neck down. And I don't know whether that's what women were intending to do back in the 60s and 70s when they talked about this feminist movement, but we feel like it's really limited freedoms. And we've looked at polls and we've looked at studies and we've realized this wasn't what women bargained for at all. Women of faith, women who are wives, women who are mothers, women who want to stay home, women who want to go to work. We want all of those freedoms for women. So it's time that the conservative woman speaks up and says, hey, this is what women really want.
Scottie, now we take a look at the political landscape. There's a new article out from Politico saying the GOP is actually, it looks as if they'll fall short in the House midterms, perhaps not build on their majority. Is some of this gender-based, or is this just more the disconnect between all of Washington and people at home?
No, I think you're completely right about that, JD. It's about the disconnect. See, here's the problem with the Republican Party. Why, it's not that they have a problem with women's issues. The problem is they have a problem relating to women. While our policies are better for them, we don't speak in terms that women need to understand. Listen, women today are not made out of cookie cutters. They're spread very thin. They're working, they're staying at home, they're trying to support their children, trying to support their husbands. So we don't have the time to invest into every single politician. The Republican Party needs to start using phrases that impact them. That's why Common Core has been so big, JD, is because they've shown where the education and the Common Core standards are affecting these women at home. Every time they unzip their child's backpack, they're seeing a textbook that has Common Core on it. That's what the Republican Party needs to do, is show how these Democrat progressive policies are impacting these women, whether they're at home or in their office. And they'll show, the truth will come out, that the Republican Party is really the honest place for women today.
And part of that entails conservative women stepping up and addressing issues that heretofore in the past have been solely the domain of women on the left. To wit, back in April, Nebraska Senator Deb Fischer wrote an article in Politico saying that gender-based pay is still a problem. Dr. Gina, the fact that a conservative Republican senator from Nebraska steps up to talk about that, do you believe that's important in terms of being more inclusive?
You know, JD, I don't want to be judged based on my gender. If we're really going to talk about equality, let's talk about raising other women up by helping them to compete in the workplace. You see, I think what women really want, JD, is not at all a competition with men, as the left has tried to parse us up and make it that way. I think what women really want is a partnership with men. And again, we raise by lifting other people with us. It doesn't have to be him or her. It can be us. And I think that's the message that women want to put forward. You know, we deal with men every day in our lives. Scottie and I both have sons that we care very much about. The feminist movement has emasculated men in an effort to have some sort of bizarre leg up in the workplace. To us, that's not working. We don't want our sons discriminated against just because they were born that gender. We're proud of the fact that we have sons. We're proud of the fact that we love real men, because real women do love real men. JD, you know this. And that's the message we want to send. So to quit dividing and to start working together.
And yet, when we take a look at the polling, Scottie Nell, it seems that single women overwhelmingly vote Democratic, while married women tend to vote Republican. So what happens to reach out to the single women, or is this just this one of those things that you're not able to rectify in terms of making political arguments and campaign debates?
Listen, I don't care if you're tall, short, if you're black, white, if you're from Texas or you're from New York. The one thing that everybody can relate to is the mighty dollar. And it's not necessarily about being single or married. It's about, can you provide for yourself, whether it's just yourself or you have a family. The economy, talking economic issues, but not talking in just numbers and stocks, talking about how much it takes to fill up your gas every week and how the prices are so large because the President Obama and the Democrats have not signed the Keystone Pipeline to open it up. Those are the type of things that we need to focus on. Those are the type of issues that will affect everybody and will attract every demographic, because in the end, the American dream is all about being able to provide for yourself and provide for your family. And that comes down to having a strong economy.
Dr. Gina, less than 2 minutes remain. I want to get back to your book, and a great title, by the way, but we've made mention of Politichicks, and you are joined by others. Tell us about your co-authors and how you guys got this book put together.
Oh, thank you, JD. Yeah, my co-authors are Anne Marie Morell and Morgan Brittany. You may know Morgan Brittany from Dallas. She was Catherine Wentworth, a bona fide movie star. And Anne Marie is actually the national director of Politichicks.com. We relaunch this week our new site. It's going to be bigger and better than ever. We're very excited about that. Same week as our book launch. And we just decided that it's time for there to be a new movement in this country that is about what women really want. So it was the natural title for our book, because what women really want isn't to fight for $15 a month for more birth control from the government. What women really want is much bigger than that. As Scottie and I have talked about, and as you talk about all the time on your show, we thank you for that, JD.
Well, we thank you very much, Dr. Gina, for filling us in on your new book. Thanks for Skyping in from Newsmax, New York, and from Nashville, Tennessee. Scottie Nell Hughes, as always, we appreciate your thoughts as well. Dr. Gina, good luck to you and the other politichicks on this book.
Thanks
Hope
so
everything works
much.
out. Great title
Appreciate
again.
it, JD. Thanks, Scottie.
Thank you very much. Well, you heard from these ladies. The war on women is not foisted by conservatives on liberals. It's something going on in reverse. What are your thoughts on that? That's what they maintain. We'd love to have your comments. Why don't you tweet us your comments at NewsmaxTV, hashtag America's Forum. You can also visit us at newsmaxtv.com/comment. And don't forget Facebook. Our faces return following this time out on America's Forum.